Okay, Otaku Tour Guide here, back with another comic book battle video. And I hope you're enjoying this content. If you are, please give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, comment. Follow along these videos and vote for your favorite covers. I think that's what's fun. I'm just trying to kind of just share my collection and show you some of my favorite covers that are in my collection and just kind of pit them up and get your thoughts on whether you agree or disagree. We've got two great Wolverine covers, two very different impressions of the character, or two different renderings or translations of the character, but they're both great. And so we have two books here. We have XMen 141, the classic John Byrne, Chris Claremont. In fact, this issue right here, 141, represents the end of the Copper Age. So this is sort of like, this issue is the last Copper Age X-Men book. And of course, Days of Future Past needs no introduction. It is one of the best stories in comic books. If you haven't seen the X-Men movie, I like the X-Men movie a lot, but it's very different from the comic book. The comic book story is just really, really, yeah. I mean, if there's, and many consider it to be like one of the best stories, comic book stories ever written, and I would tend to agree. I think it's not my favorite, but it's definitely up there in terms of just quality comic book work and art. So that this is sort of just and the reason I have an image of this, I do have this comic, but it's currently at CGC and it's been sitting there since September. It's still at CCS waiting to get cleaned and pressed. So I haven't seen a change in its status. And again, I didn't submit the books express because I don't mind waiting for the books, but it's getting to the point now where it's moving on February. I'm just wondering if I'm going to see it before my annual subscription expires. So I was hoping to send more books once I got these previous books back, but we'll have to see. I'm hoping to get them, at least by April. That's what I'm hoping, but something tells me it may be longer. But yeah, anyway, it's at CGC, and I really can't. I gotta say this. I have a better sense of grading now. Now that I've gotten some books back from CGC, and I've been kind of, now that I'm back in the hobby and I've been kind of studying up on grading, I feel like I have a good idea of what books are, but I just don't remember what the condition of this book was. I know it was not like a flawless book. It had its issues, but for the most part, it was in good shape from my memory. So, my X-Men 120 came back with, it had some stains on it, very, very minute stains on the back cover, but that was due to aging. So just a little bit of foxing on the back cover, and I just didn't think it warranted the grade I got. I got back a 7.0, without the foxing, it definitely would have been, I think, in the 8.5 range. And I want to say that this book is in the 8.5 range as well. That's what we're hoping for. But again, I just don't remember if there's any foxing issues on this book as well, because it's around the, it was, you know, kept in the like the same short box for, you know, however many years. I bought this book back, you know, when I was collecting in the late 80s, and I've had it in my collection since. I mean, I kept it in good preservation, but you just don't know what happens with when it's just in a box for all those years. So there may be some foxing, there may be some browning of the pages, I just don't recall. Again, we're hoping that comes back in 8.5, and when it does come back, I will do an unboxing video on that grade. But okay, so that's 141, and then it's going up against this wonderful Jim Lee cover of Wolverine. Just an amazing cover there. Great anatomy work by Jim Lee. Great action shot by Jim Lee. So yeah, I mean, for me, you know, this Jim Lee is, so, you know, if you were to say, if I were to say, name my two top artists, Byrne and Lee are definitely at the top of my list, and these are the two guys I'm collecting. I've added George Perez into the mix now, and so these are the three guys I'm really just sort of whose books I'm after, and they're the artists whose runs I'm trying to complete, and so yeah, Byrne has always been a favorite of mine. In fact, it was Byrne's you know, it was classic X-Men that got me into X-Men, really, into collecting, you know, Silvestri, Art Adams and Silvestri at the time, and then eventually Jim Lee. So yeah, I guess, you know, John Byrne and Larry Hama are sort of the two creatives that whose work I followed as a young kid, and just got into reading. And then, you know, again, I was introduced to Byrne through the classic X-Men, so I must have been in like middle school at the time when these books were coming out. Sixth grade at the time when these books were coming out, and they're all just reprints of Byrne Claremont. So Copper and Claremont as well. But anyway, this Jim Lee cover is just, you know, my cup of tea. I can drink this all day. But in this particular instance, even as great as this cover is, I'm gonna have to go with Uncanny X-Men 141, because, you know, you just get those Old Man Logan vibes from that cover, and just that cover tells such a great story. I mean, this cover really outlines what Days of Future Past is about. It's about, you know, this alternate future where Sentinels just take out all the X-Men. And so in the next issue, Wolverine actually gets killed by a Sentinel, but, you know, you all know the story. That future is averted, and it's just one of those great sort of what if multiverse type storylines that after this, you know, you just saw a plethora of them hit comic books, and really so this was sort of the birth of all that stuff. But anyway, classic issue, classic story, and so 141 gets my vote and wins this particular battle. Now, it hasn't won. Obviously, you can decide which comment it's on. So I tally up all the votes and all the comments, and then we decide based on your what you vote for. We'll move on. So I encourage you to comment on your selection, like, subscribe to my channel, do all the good stuff, support me, and see you in the next one. Thank you.